Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pensatorium.
I am Muninn,
And I'm Cassius.
and we are the Gadflies.
And what follows is an impromptu discussion that we had the other day. And I hope you enjoy part one.
What's been on my mind, you ask?
Indeed.
A great many things. I believe the most pressing issue we've discussed in all of the times we've enjoyed each other's company probably be people not living up to their potential. People failing to harness the greatness inside of them and settling for a life that is not so much beneath them, but just not the level of existence that they are capable of reaching. I believe that's the most pressing issue that we've probably discussed repeatedly. Whether it be because people are weighed down by the current state of society, whether it's the opinions of others or things that have happened to them in their past, there's so many things that keep people from reaching their full potential. And I see that in so many people that I know and meet each day. And I know this is a topic that we've discussed many times.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to growing into your own and maturing and realizing one's potential, I think what is so often missed by people coming from a psychological angle or from an economic or social angle or whatever is that this is a matter that is purely spiritual. And I don't mean religious. One of my favorite quotes on the matter from Ken Wilber is that spirituality is asking the question, what is of greatest concern for me? And if that means figuring out how to keep the only food I have from spoiling, then that's what's of greatest concern. Spirituality, at least in the way that he defined it and the way that I understand it, is basically a matter of establishing your priorities. I mean, what is of greatest worth? And of anything that you do, which things are a means to some other end? What is the greatest and most enduring or most pressing end? What is of greatest concern to you? So yeah, when it comes to people not living up to their potential, people worried about not being able to discover their potential or to live up to it, that is a purely spiritual matter. Because that thought, that worry, that frame of mind, where the question is even significant, is a spiritual one, asking what is of greatest worth to them. And just kind of building off of that. Of course, I think that also tends to involve certain preconceptions as to what one's potential actually are, which I think can actually serve as distractions in some cases. Because if I'm actually far from realizing my potential in a given respect or across a given time frame, then maybe I'm really bad at conceiving of what that potential actually looks like. And so to live up to my bad conception of it is not going to be helpful, because it might be utterly unattainable, or it might be too easily attainable, or I don't know, fill in the blanks,
That is actually a really good point, because how is one supposed to reach the destination of their potential, as it were, if that knowledge is unknown to them as well? You can't reach a destination you don't know how to get to. So for me, it took a lot of self-reflection, a lot of time alone, even some going through a little bit of trauma to really discover what I was capable of. And so I think the best way to discover your potential and how you want to direct that potential is you just have to do things that seem crazy. Like,
define crazy.
like, for example, whether this is a good example or not, at one of my previous jobs, I was the only one in the warehouse, and there was an entire semi-trailer of cabinets that needed to be unloaded. I was like, okay, this is going to be terrible. It usually takes 2+ hours for a whole team of individuals to unload this. But then I thought, I want to see how long it'll take me to unload this thing by myself. 57 feet of cabinets. And I just put my headphones in, turned my music on, and I went to work, and I unloaded that entire trailer in just under 2 hours, which is something I did not think I was capable of before I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
And so just pushing yourself in certain areas and attempting things outside your comfort zone and doing things that intimidate you and stretching your physical and mental and emotional muscles to just grow yourself as a person, I feel is the best way to actually find your potential. And then as you discover that, then I feel like your mind almost starts to grow in a way where it helps you kind of decide where you want to direct all of that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you start to get that flowing and get that energy building up, you have to find somewhere to direct it. There's a gentleman I greatly respect that has said, when you discover your true purpose and when you discover your own potential, if you don't do anything with it, it can destroy you from the inside, because that energy needs somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how it happened for me and several other people I know, and I'm still not fully there. I still haven't truly discovered my potential to its maximum, but I'm constantly pushing myself in both physical, mental, and emotional ways to just always reach the next tier, to
Mm-hmm.
always stretch myself a little bit farther. And I just want as many people as possible to not directly, but sort of, it's just like when you start going to the gym or begin working out or start working on a specific skill. It's really, really hard at first. You can't lift that much weight. You don't know that much. You spend time doing research. You start picking up tools along the way. But with the more you learn, the more tools you add to your arsenal, as it were, the more your potential in that specific area you're working towards increases, because you're pushing yourself mentally and physically in that direction. So you're becoming capable of more in whatever area that is, whether it's learning IT skills or public speaking, or if you want to learn how to help people in some way, whether it be medical or maybe through counseling. The first step towards any of those things is usually the mental stage of learning about them. That's how I look at it anyway.
Yeah. And one thing that strikes me about the kind of process you're describing is that with each additional degree of attainment, or every advancement that you make, sets you up to, it basically opens up your possibilities even more, because the
Exactly.
greater capability that you have, the more applications your abilities have, and the more the possibilities multiply in front of you. I feel like the process of applying yourself in a pursuit isn't always an active one. A lot of times it is. A lot of times it is an active thing, but like I guess it depends on whether we're making a distinction in between applying yourself and sticking it out.